Well, hey Ken, how you doing?
Good. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. I tell you what, this is it's quite a spread we got here, huh?
Yeah, I hope you enjoy what we put together. We're gonna have some fun, kind of experimenting and figure out what works.
This looks like a lot. Now, what exactly am I looking at here?
Well, what we decided to do today is really pair some great Wisconsin cheeses with some other great local products, and really hopefully come up with some unique pairing combinations.
Everything here is local.
Everything is local.
It looks like a lot of great stuff. Now, I gotta admit, I've had cheese before, but I'm not a big expert on this.
Well, you're in for a treat then. I mean, it's very simple. There's some rule of thumbs that you should follow.
Okay.
But overall, it's about really listening to your taste buds and having fun experimenting with different flavors.
I'm excited to give it a shot. What would you suggest first?
Well, first I'd like to start talking about Marika. This is Marika Gouda from Holland Family Farm. This is a raw milk Gouda that's aged 9 to 12 months. And what we want to do here, this is very creamy and buttery. So what I thought we would do is we would pair this with one of my favorite caramels. This is a salty caramel. So dark chocolate with a little bit of caramel sprinkled with some sea salt.
I always like treats, so that sounds good to me.
So a couple of rule of thumb when we're tasting is let the cheese set at room temperature.
Okay.
We don't want to eat cold cheese. So the first thing we're going to do is start by tasting the Gouda. So why don't you go ahead and
a little piece, all right.
Get a little piece there. I'll do the same. And let it sit in your mouth. You know what do you taste?
There's a buttery taste for sure.
Very buttery.
Very smooth.
What we want to do in pairing is we don't want anything that's real the end of the spectrum. We want to complement the flavor of the Gouda. So buttery, very savory, and we're going to taste that with...
I was going to say, I just want to keep eating this, but that looks good too.
So why don't you taste that now with a salty caramel?
Okay. Well, to me, I mean, the buttery taste from this sort of complements, as you said, with the buttery taste of this as well, and just kind of boosts it.
Yeah, to me, it's just a marriage made in heaven when you really get those two flavors that really work together.
Now, I just said the cheese again with it, and that made it even that much better. When I had it by itself, the cheese, I could tell that's buttery smooth taste, but it was when I had the caramel with it that everything just sort of exploded, and then going back to the cheese as well. Did even more for me.
And that's the fun part of this. It's just really just experimenting, really having fun with different flavors. There are rules of thumb that you want to follow. You know, I would not pair a real fresh cheese with a real strong wine or a strong beer.
Is it a bitter type thing? Is it?
Yeah, it just really doesn't work well with the flavor.
You'll know if it's wrong.
You'll know if it's wrong.
Okay.
Some people like it, but when you're experimenting, it's kind of best to start with similar flavors, and then when you taste it together, it really comes together.
Well, that was delicious, and that paired out great. What else have we got?
Well, the other cheese we're going to taste next is, you're familiar with Hooks. They they do some great aged cheddars here in Wisconsin.
Okay.
This happens to be an 8-year cheddar. So
now, I'm going to sound dumb here, but when you're talking about 8-year as associated with
literally,
something
it's been aging for 8 years.
And what's the benefit of having it?
Well, it changes in texture, it changes in flavor as the cheese ages. And in Hook's case, this develops sometimes some crystals in the cheese. And as the cheese ages, that salt tends to start working its way through the cheese and start to develop these crystals. And that's that crunchy texture that you taste in the cheese.
I'm going to give it a shot with this.
So give it a taste of the 8-year. This does not have a natto in it. A lot of the Hook's cheeses they're yellow in flavor. This is one of their white cheddar.
That is a strong taste. I mean, it kicks you right up.
So what we want to do with the Hook's cheddar is we're going to, because it is a stronger flavor, try it with this Cranberry Relish. And this is our house recipe. And it's bottled for us by a local couple in Madison their company is called Quince and Apple. But this is cranberries made in Wisconsin with some dried currants and raisin and some spices.
I taste the raisin for sure.
But when you taste those two together, it really kind of is a nice balance of flavor. Then I'm going to add another complexity to this, and that is pairing the Cranberry Relish with the 8-year cheddar.
It amazes me the difference from when you first try the cheese and when you have something that it pairs with, try the cheese again. And it's got a different, more bold flavor for me.
And that's the fun part of doing this. So then try it with this Potter's Crackers, another local company in Madison. They do this cranberry hazelnut crisp. So the cranberries come from Wisconsin. It's crunchy. It has another flavor element. So as you can see, you can build in the complexity by adding some other companions to make it a fun way of enjoying like products. The other rule of thumb is you want to start with the most mild cheese and end with the strongest. If you start with a blue cheese and end with a soft cheese, your palate's going to be so fatigued you're not going to really taste the flavors. So that's why we started with the Gouda. Next we went with the 8-year cheddar. And we're going to end with another wonderful
No.
creation. This is one of my favorite cheeses. It's an American original made by Chris Raleigh in Charlesburg, Wisconsin. He's
Okay.
a fourth-generation cheesemaker. And this does have a little bit of blue in it,
Oh,
but it's cheddar-based that it's going to hopefully wow you when you taste it.
okay. I'm not a
Ready
big
for it?
connoisseur of blue, but I'm willing to give it a shot for
So
sure.
the unique thing about this cheese, we tasted the Hook's 8-year cheddar.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between the Hook's 8-year cheddar and Dunbarton Blue is this is actually cave aged, and not necessarily meaning it's aged in a cave, but it's in an open air environment, so it develops those earthy flavors.
Brings out a
and
lot.
you see a lot of the molds and the natural rind, which makes it a beautiful artisan cheese.
Yes.
So what we're going to do today is we're going to taste the Cheddar Blue with another favorite product in our shop, which is KP Toffee. So, a lot of people don't think of toffee and cheese. It's like, why not? Savory, sweet, desserts. There's no rules in terms of when you should eat cheese.
Candy with the cheese. Why not?
So what I want you to do is first taste a little bit of the Dunbarton Blue.
Okay. Now, I do taste the blue for sure, but what I also taste is that smooth and really delicious flavor that goes along with it as well to me, which is the cheddar. So that's interesting. It's not a real strong blue taste.
And a lot of times people would pair blue cheeses with honey and walnuts. And in this case, we decided to let's try toffee and see what happens.
All right, dive into the candy here.
So this is a milk chocolate toffee. So you're using two milk-based products.
Sure.
You definitely want something that's a
Well,
little
that's good.
stronger here because the cheese is a little has a bigger personality than what we tasted before.
It's too strong taste, but I mean, I can definitely tell that with the little bit of a bitter with the blue, but this is so delicious as well, and it really complements each other well.